What's up guys, I'm BTC, welcome back to the Respawn where I answer your questions. Today we're talking new events, where in the world is Soldier 76, and more. Today's video is sponsored by Audible. You can get a free audiobook to keep forever and support the channel by using the link down below. If you haven't tried audiobooks yet, what are you waiting for? They're awesome. I listen to them every single day, and this is a great chance for you because even if you decide to cancel, you get to keep the book that you picked forever. There's also a great no-hassle return policy, and you can exchange any book at any time for any reason. There's a massive library of books to choose from, so go and grab your free audiobook and start listening today. Let's get started. First question, is Mercy in a good place? If not, how can we fix it? Well, it's still a little early in the 222 roll queue system and new stuff might be popping up, but it does seem like for the lower bracket, Mercy is going to be an okay character. She's useful in a lot of general situations and a reliable healer, but she tends to get outshined by the other characters. And as far as the upper bracket goes in pro play, really the only time you're going to see Mercy is when she's needed to pocket a Pharah, because otherwise you're going to use an Ana, a Moira, or a Baptiste. They're just better healers and just generally more useful than Mercy is in her current version. How to fix it? Well, I guess the first thing they could do is maybe revert the healing nerf, bring it back up to 60 healing per second. As far as the res, that's a tough one because if you drop the cooldown on that a little too much, then suddenly Mercy becomes a must-pick character again, and both teams have to have it on every single match, and that's just not a situation you want. I've said this before, I think honestly they should just replace the res with something else that she can use more often that will kind of give her a little bit of a uniqueness to the character without having that, must-pick situation. Next up, you think it's possible that Overwatch can make a new event like Valentine's Day? Probably not. If they were going to do something like that, it would likely be a mini event, one of those little, weekly, 2-week things that they have, which would be kind of neat. As far as like huge events, I don't think Blizzard is really going to try to do those anymore. Like they're going to keep going with the ones that they already have, but it does seem like they're putting less and less and less focus on those events, and they're just kind of there. They're going to add a couple of new legendary skins. I mean, with the Summer Games, there was only 4. With Halloween Tower, we're only supposed to get 4 as well, and one of them could even possibly be the Sombra skin that we got from last year. So it just seems like they're trying to push away from those events. So if something like that were to happen, it would probably be one of the mini events. Next up, what's the state of Soldier 76? I haven't seen him in a while. That's because he's just really bad in the current version of the game. In Goats Comp, he was terrible. You just couldn't use him at all. In the Orisa bunker kind of stuff, he also wasn't very good. And now Double Barrier, he's really bad. The character just doesn't do anything effective in these situations. And in the most recent, the Double Barrier, there's just no way for him to really do effective damage. He can't relocate as quickly as something like a Widow or a Hanzo can. Like, he can sprint around, sure, but you need to be able to take high ground and low ground quickly, and he can't do that. And as far as his regular damage, it's okay at dealing with barriers, but when there's 2 of them that are constantly being replaced and replenished, he just doesn't do anything. So that's the problem. The character just, in the current situation, he just can't do anything effective, and that's why. I mean, even his ultimate, you can just throw Sigma's barrier in front of his ult, and it's going to do absolutely nothing, because his ultimate doesn't do enough damage to even break Sigma's barrier. So, it's just like, whatever. Next up, when will you release a new hero concept? Hopefully pretty soon. I do have a lot of progress on one of them done right now. I also have like 7 or 8, 9, 10 of them all kind of worked up in little Excel sheets and stuff like that, all planned out. It's just a matter of getting all the artwork and putting everything together so I can finally release it. One thing that I do want to point out though is now that we're in that 222 system, I have a lot more options to design these characters because I no longer have to worry is this going to make Goats Comp stronger? Because that was the most common question on every single hero concept that I ever really, is this going to make Goats Comp stronger? No, it's not. You know, all that sort of stuff. So now that I don't have to worry about that anymore, now I can, you know, have a little bit more kind of freedom in making more unique stuff. So that's pretty cool. Next up, why don't you agree with other content creator opinions when it comes to discussion about certain Overwatch topics? Because to be perfectly blunt, most of the time they're just wrong. Because they're not looking to find out what is accurate. They're looking for the opinion that will give them the most likes. They want you to click that like button, and they will tell you whatever they need to in order to make you do it. Whereas when I look at these changes for a hero balance or a meta shift or something, I always try to take a neutral, unbiased, analytical approach. How is this going to affect the players in the lower bracket? How is it going to affect players in the upper bracket and the pros? I don't hate any of the heroes. I don't have this, you know, kind of weird thing about how, oh, I can't stand this character, therefore I want it to be bad. I don't have any of that, right? I look at it and I take an analytical approach. And this is why, more often than not, those others are wrong on almost everything. Like, for example, Reaper lifesteal ending goats, like that buff, like that was just ridiculous. And then Diva being the worst tank is absurd. Or the idea that Orisa and Sigma is a terrible and extremely weak combo. Like, what? What are you talking about? Like, none of that stuff makes sense. And here's another really, really good example where I went fully against the grain and almost everybody else was saying something else. It was when Brigitte had her shield bash nerf, made it so that it could no longer go through barriers because everyone else was saying, this is going to end goats. The fact that Brigitte can no longer bash the Reinhardt on the enemy team, this is going to end goats. And I said, no, this is going to make goats stronger because what it did was it removed one of the counters for Goats Comp. It made it so that your Reinhardt is now even stronger because the whole concept of Goats Comp is this massive sustain and giant health pool. And when you remove a counter, it makes it even stronger. And as it turns out, yes, after the shield bash nerf, Goats Comp got stronger because it was now even more difficult to deal with that Reinhardt. And everybody else was saying, no, this is going to be the end of... So, to answer your question, why don't I agree with them? Because they're wrong. I'm not saying that I'm always right, but I mean, at least I'm making an honest effort and I'm not just saying things in order to get likes and clicks. All right, let's move on to something a little bit happier, a little bit more upbeat, all right? So next question, what kind of map would you like to see next and which location should it be? I would really like to see a map that takes place inside one of the Omniums. And those are the giant factories that the Omnics use in order to make the other Omnics. I think that would be a pretty cool... I mean, we have something kind of, sort of, a little bit like that at Volskaya where they're making the robots and stuff, the giant mechs. But I think taking it from the Omnic perspective would be pretty cool. Or another really cool map would be the Vishkar city where everything is like made out of hard light and that sort of stuff. So those kinds of maps I think would be really cool. Those are what I would like to see. Next up, would Brigitte be in a better place if her whip shot were able to go through barriers? Yes, she would be in a better place, but the game would be in a worse place. So yeah, it would allow her to deal more damage, it would allow her to activate her Inspire passive more often, but it would be inconsistent, right? If Roadhog's hook can't go through a barrier, then Brigitte's whip shot shouldn't be able to go through either, because they're both projectiles. They're physical projectiles that the characters throw out, and there needs to be consistency. Having special rules for these different things just makes it harder for players to fully understand, like, and accept what's gonna happen. Like, all right, so if this character uses a physical projectile, it's gonna go through the barrier, but if this other one does, then it doesn't. And like, you don't want to have that situation. So it would be better for Brig and worse for the game. So I wouldn't want to see that at all. Next up, could a tank with an immense health pool, let's say 1,000 health, but could do very little damage? I think that would be a very bad idea as well, because I mean, people already call Roadhog an ult battery because he has a huge amount of health and no shield and no armor and none of that. So if you had a character with 1,000 health who just didn't do much damage, then you would essentially be giving the enemy team free ultimates like every single fight. And you don't want that. In fact, that's the reason why Bob doesn't give ult charge, because originally he did, but Blizzard found out that, hey, this just gives way too much, so they decided, you know what, we can't have that, so we're gonna make it so that you don't build ult charge off of Bob. And if you had a player that was in every fight doing the same thing, you see what I mean here? So no, it just wouldn't be a good idea. You don't want anything like that. Next up, do you believe the current hero balance is good, or does it need changes? It definitely needs changes. I don't think hero balance has ever been what I would call good in this game. There's always been some pretty substantial problems. And when it comes to the meta, you notice that almost every single meta has just a mirror match, right? Like, if they're running goats, you have to run goats. If they were running the Mercy Dive, then you had to run Mercy Dive. If they were running the Beyblade, then you had to run the Beyblade. Like, it doesn't matter, right? Like, the only thing in this game for the meta is a mirror match, and that's not really good. And what should happen is you should be able to run one thing, like dive and bunker and standard comp, like all of these things. It would be good if they kind of countered each other enough, right? Like, it's okay if one of them is a little bit better than the rest, but if the only way to beat the double barrier is to mostly run double barrier, and the only way to beat goats is to play goats, that's not good. So the hero balance hasn't been very good. There's always been lots of problems, and of course you have other characters like Bastion who have consistently had the lowest pick rate in the entire game, and you know, that shouldn't happen. Characters don't need to be viable in every single situation on every single map, but they should be viable in at least half of the situations. Next up, should Zenyatta's Discord Orb reduce healing? No, I don't think so at all, because it's already one of the strongest abilities in the game. I mean, they just had to nerf it not too long ago because it was so strong. But no, making it reduce healing as well, I think that would just be way too powerful for that ability. Next up, why can't I play the new characters in competitive when they first come live? Well, it's the same thing with the new maps. They don't want to put them into competitive because here's the idea, and it's well-intentioned, right? The idea is that they want you to play the map in quick play or play the character in quick play, and they want you to get used to it and learn about it before you go into competitive. And that is a very well-intentioned thing that never happens. Right? Like, I can't tell you, every single time there is a new map that gets added to the game, I always end up in competitive matches with someone saying, hey, guys, this is the first time I've ever seen this map. Can you tell me where we're supposed to go? It's like, dude, the map was on the PTR for a month. It was in quick play in the arcade for 2 weeks, and you haven't seen it? No. All right, and it's the same thing with heroes, right? Like, sometimes you might see them play it a little bit on the PTR, or they might play a little bit in quick play, but often they just rush right into competitive. They're like, whatever. You know, I've got like 28 minutes on this character, but, you know, sure, I'm just going to jump into competitive and try to play him anyways. So the intent, long story short, the intent was to make it so that people end up playing the character, and the same thing with the maps. They learn the stuff before they go into competitive, but it just doesn't really happen. Alright guys, that is going to be all the questions for this week. Thank you to everyone who submitted one. Remember, I post the question card every Saturday on the community tab of my YouTube channel, and I do my best to avoid any repeat questions. If you want to see a complete list of every question that's ever been asked on the Respawn series, you can find that in my Discord server. And also, don't forget, you can get that free audiobook by using the link down below. Thanks for watching, and if you'd like to see more, subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss anything. Also, come hang out in my Discord server and my Twitch live stream. Special thanks to my Patreon supporters. If you'd like to see what kind of cool VIP rewards you can get, check the links down below. And remember, always blame the controller, because it's never your fault.